Good evening, everyone. Thank you for a special Spooky Sunday edition of Paranormal Brew. I'm your host, Taryn Kerper, and this evening I have Tim and Lauren Maile, who now run the Pawtographs for Pooches, the new chapter. Many of my faithful brewskis probably do know Tim. He's been on several times to talk about Pawtographs. I know most of my listeners are animal lovers, as I am myself. Um, Tim's, Tim and Lauren's proceeds go to local animal shelters to help out, which I am in love with so much. And I love Tim's story. And I haven't learned how Lauren became a part of this wonderful a part of Tim's wonderful family, and then now they have this family together, and I just I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hearing about Pawtographs, the new chapter, and what they have got going on. So I'm going to be quiet, and I'm just going to bring these two lovely people on to join us.
Hello.
Tim, Lauren, how are you this evening?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
I'm doing all right. I'm thankful that you were able to make it on before the Paracon so we can promote it a little bit. Before we get started, Tim, I'd like you just to take the floor for a second and just give everybody a description on like how Pawtographs for Pooches came to light. Murray, Murray's legacy lives on still, which is amazing, and I love that. But if you could just give everybody a little bit of a background, and then we can lean into how Lauren, the sparkle caught your eye, and you were like, "What's this? My future."
That's exactly how it went. I was like, "What is this?" I'll start with the Murray story. I mean, a lot of folks have heard it before.
It's important, though. I feel like it's important, and I love it.
I mean, it goes back to 2006. I had just got my home in Oshkosh. No longer live there. I used to do the interviews, and I'd be like, "Oh, and I still live there." And we've moved out of that home now, and somebody else is enjoying it. But 2006, moved into that home, and was going through a lot of things personally. A lot of depression, a lot of sadness, suicidal thoughts. And in 2006, I don't even know if guys talk about it now, but in 2006, guys didn't talk about that feeling, and we kind of kept it to ourselves. And truth be told, like zero of my friends knew that I was suffering. None of my family knew. And moving into that home, I knew I wanted a dog. That was the goal. I got a home. I finally have a place I can get a dog, and found a puppy online that was beaten horribly as a puppy, rescued from the home. And they didn't want to let me come and visit him because he didn't like men. I had said this so many times in interviews, but I convinced the shelter that I was no normal man, and they let me come and say hi. And I remember them sitting me down in this small room, and they opened a door, and it was a whole hallway of kennels. And they walked about halfway down. Excuse me. If I lose my voice, Lauren's going to have to do the whole dang interview. They walked down about halfway, opened the kennel door, and this little puppy snuck out, very timid, and went the wrong way. And if you ever had a chance to meet Murray, and a lot of folks did, that was him. He didn't really do anything right the first time. He's kind of like his old man. But the shelter worker went and turned him around and pointed him at me. And this little puppy that wasn't supposed to want anything to do with me came running and jumped into my arms. It was kind of out of a movie. But took him outside, played with him for what seemed like forever. Of course, you can't take him home that day, or at least they wouldn't let me. So I had to leave, and I remember as I was leaving, he was up with his legs against the chain link fence, staring at me like, "What did I do wrong?" And I cried the whole way home. I finally got the okay to go get him, and I remember him on the Freedom ride and going home. He was going from window to window, checking everything out, and he was so excited. Got him home, and instantly he started following the things that I was hearing. It was the first time I ever dealt with anything in the paranormal, any ghostly activity. And for him to see this, or at least acknowledge it, was good for me mentally, because I had gotten to a point where I thought I was crazy. I was dealing with knocks on the walls, footsteps, voices in my closet. That's how I got involved with the paranormal field. He and I just clicked. And one night in early 2007, I was going through friends and family one by one and explaining to myself why it would be okay if I wasn't here. And I had the largest knife that I had in the house. I was sitting in the bathroom, and as I was about to do the unthinkable, I felt something on my arm, and I looked down, and it was Murray, and him and his beautiful brown eyes were looking up at me. And I just remember crumpling to the floor and thinking, I can't do this to him. If I'm gone, who's going to take care of him? In that moment, he saved me. I firmly believe he saved my life. Everything from January 2007 until now. So very thankful for him. Still talk to him all the time. He passed away in 2019, but before that happened, I started getting some incredible opportunities within the paranormal field, and started Pawtographs for Pooches in 2013.
Okay.
Wanted to raise money for animal shelters around, and it wasn't even around the country in the beginning. It was just, I want to raise money wherever I am, and create a legacy for him, because I wanted people to know his story and know how special he was. And I haven't told this story like next to Lauren in a long time, so I'm trying to keep it together.
I can never keep it together when you tell this story, ever.
But he's so very special, and we created this legacy, and he got to meet so many people, and when he was at events, he knew he was a star. In 2019, he passed away, and there was a great segment of the paranormal field that mourned with me, because he became the paranormal's dog. And so many folks changed their profile pictures and their cover photos to Murray, and some of those folks still have him on their profile pictures. And he was special to not only me, but a large segment of the population within the paranormal. And knowing that we made a difference, was so great for me personally. I remember when I was taking him into the vet that day. I rushed him to the vet. There was a lot of things going wrong all at once, and I knew it was the end. I remember carrying him in and telling him, you got to let me know that you're okay. You got to let me know Grandpa has you. Otherwise, I'm coming to find you. And that sounds as bad as it is intended to sound. I didn't want him to be alone. That night, some very good friends and family came over, sat with me. And that next morning, I woke up to 5 messages from 5 different mediums, and they all started the same. Every one of them started with, Murray says it's very important that you know he's okay. And he kept his end of the bargain. So here I am, almost 5.5 years later now. It's hard to believe he's been gone that long, but we're still carrying on the legacy, trying to make a difference, and doing it all for him.
So after Murray passed, you continued to do Pawtographs. And how much money, before the new chapter, should I say, how much money has Pawtographs raised for local shelters?
I don't know before the new chapter because it's all kind of the same. It's the exact number is $129,000. $129,000.
That's amazing! Oh my God, you're heroes! You are heroes.
And so much of that was raised after he passed, which is really a shame.
Yeah, but he's still there.
But he's there every day. He's here in everything that we do, and like I said, anything after 2007 is all thanks to him. So whatever we get to do going forward, that's the one that gets the credit. I saw Joe said that Lauren and I are amazing people. Joe's amazing too. Love the guy. Absolutely love him.
So when did Lauren put the sparkle in your eye, as I say?
So I was sitting at the bar at Michigan Paracon, and I noticed this female, and on a whim I sent over some drinks to her and her friends.
Sure did.
And it worked. She came over and she talked to me. So,
and then we found out that we lived like less than 40 minutes away from each other.
Yeah, we had to travel 6
Wisconsin.
hours away to figure out we lived right down the road from
That's so.
So in the beginning, it was a friendship, and then eventually we kind of looked at each other and went, "I think we're in trouble." And here we are, almost a year and a half after meeting, and got married in October, bought a house in October. So.
And Lauren, you have children, correct? You have children. You have correct me if I'm wrong. 2 daughters, 3 daughters.
2 daughters and
2 daughters and 1 son. Okay, and do they participate in everything? Do they help out? Do they just love this whole Pawtographs Murray's thing?
We do run a fine line of like really introducing the paranormal part of it to them, right? We're kind of, I don't want to say that they're not like terrified.
No, we explain things in childlike explanations. We don't want to get too far into the suicide attempt or anything like that. Why it's so special, but they do all have their own Murray merch.
Yes.
That they proudly wear.
And Caden has a picture of Murray in his room.
Yep.
Yeah. So they know about Murray, and they know that you were very sad.
Yeah, they know he's special. As they get older, we'll explain.
Right. So now you guys come together. You decide to start the new chapter. Like, were there differences that you had to make? What was the idea behind the new chapter of Pawtographs?
Do you want to do this one or me?
Well, you can. Do you want to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
So when I went to that Michigan Paracon that I met Lauren at, the idea was to talk to the promoters there and see if I could say goodbye the next year. Because the events, they're stressful. Putting them together and, just all of the planning, and sometimes you almost feel like you're begging people to buy tickets and care. And for me, it's such a personal thing that there are times when I just look in the mirror and go, we're putting in all this effort and it seems like people don't care. which I know
Right.
isn't true. But when you're crunching numbers and you're trying to make sure you don't lose a bunch of money on an event, it's hard to convince your brain that it's all going to
Sure.
work out. So my thought was, I'm going to talk to Tim Ellis and I'm going to ask if I can say goodbye next year, and that'll be my last event. And I actually did talk to Tim Ellis, and they agreed they were going to let me do a lecture that next year and say goodbye and thank everybody, because Michigan is really where, you know, people support the events. And I just so happened to meet Lauren at that event, and it was a few months later where you know, she kind of looked at me, and I think I'll let her take it from there.
Well, I asked him, I'm like, do you just need help? If someone is there to help you and willing to, you know, put effort in and take some of that stress off of your back, will you continue to do this?
And this was before you guys were together or after you guys were together?
Was that still like friendship stage?
Yeah, it was. there was a gray area. So it was in that time where I knew. I think we both knew that we were stuck with each other.
Right.
And this was her way. And the exact words she actually used were, "If I helped, would you continue Marie's dream?" And how can you say no to that?
Right.
So, you know, here we are, year and a half later almost, and after I'd wanted to walk away, and we've got so many things lined up for 2025, and I'm sure we'll talk about those. And one of those you had a big part in, so thank you. But yeah, it's a busy year, a lot of different things going on, but Lauren also brought some new ideas to the table, and, you know, fun things we could do with the page to get interaction, and, you know, different types of events, and
so the big event is held at the same place every time, right? Like you have one event, but then you also do little ones. Like I know you used to do, like, here's a fundraiser for Pawtographs at Hinsdale House, or here's, you know, a fundraiser here for this. But I mean, like, your big event is at one place.
The big event's always in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
The venue changed this year. We went from Ann Arbor, Michigan, back to Houghton Lake, Michigan, just because we were having a lot of issues with the hotel, and the event was not running smoothly. So we pivoted back to where we used to do the event, and you know, we're going to try that again. But it's always in Michigan, just because when I first started Pawtographs for Pooches, the Michigan paranormal community was the one that put their arms around it and said, "We're not letting this fail." Right. And you know, that was pretty incredible. That's where we have our most support, and it feels right to do our event there. And plus it's so difficult to do an event in Wisconsin.
Right.
The state just does not want to have, you know, they don't want to have fun. They just want to sit indoors and get snowed on. That's what they want.
And then the proceeds. Now, when you donate the proceeds to local shelters, do you pick a different shelter? Is it the same shelter? Are you trying to now divvy it up between multiple shelters? Like how does that part work, where you pick where to donate to?
It's a shelter in that immediate area, and I usually look to local people to help me with that and say, hey, what would you suggest in this area? Because if you raise money for a shelter in the area, people in that area are more apt to support it.
Right.
You know, if it was a shelter in Wisconsin and we were doing an event in Michigan, I don't think they would care. So, sure. But it is, you know, if we do multiple events at the same location, we'll raise money for the same. And we've got some pretty incredible relationships with some shelters at this point, and do what we can to help as many as we can.
And you have adoptables come to the event as well, right? Do they bring? Do some of the shelters bring adoptable babies to the event?
They do, and sometimes that is pure chaos because people just want to hang out with the dogs and they forget it's a paranormal event. But in some instances, it's wonderful because, there was an event at Houghton Lake where I took a dog home. And
Yes.
Molly ended up being with me for 3 years. So, but we have to make a promise this year we're not bringing any dogs home.
That would be hard for me. I would literally be in all the little encavements with all the little dogs the whole time. Everybody be like, "Where's Taryn?" Oh, she must be. So so who do you have coming this year? Like, and do you guys do lectures at Pawtographs? Do you people have that do lectures and stuff like that?
Yeah. You go ahead.
Yes, we do. We have a full day of lectures. We have vendors. We're going to have a mediumship gallery. We're even doing karaoke at night. So
wait, is it a 1 or 2 day event?
One
day.
Mm-hmm.
1 day. We tried the 2 day, and it was difficult to get the speakers in
For 2 days.
Since I don't live in the area.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to get the speakers in, get everything set up. So it just makes sense to do it all in 1 day for us. And still the same amount of speakers. We just don't spread them out as far. And, like Lauren said, vendors all day, speakers all day. I think there's going to be dogs. We haven't confirmed with the shelter, but I've heard. And then we're ending the night with some karaoke and some really horrible singing, and probably 1 or 2 people that can sing really well.
I was going to ask you something. Darn it. ADHD. Dustin Parr is a big helper, supporter of Pawtographs, isn't he? He's one of the guys that really he's been there. He's been with you for a while.
Yeah, he and I have been really good friends for quite a few years now. And I think he's only missed one Parafest, and that's because I was just trying to switch it up, give people something different. But having him there means a lot to me. People see Dustin back when they used to have, the ghost hunting shows on TV. Back when they did that, people would see Dustin on TV and think, is it possible that he's that nice in real life? And
Super.
Incredibly, he's even more approachable and nice. And really, I do consider him one of my better friends. After Murray passed away, Dustin was one of the first 3 people to call me to check in on me to see how I was doing. 2 years ago, we had an event in Ann Arbor, our big event, and we got 16 inches of snow the night before. And Dustin was flying in from Rhode Island, and they rerouted his flight. He landed in Milwaukee, rented a car, and drove through a blizzard 6 hours to be there. And his reasoning was, I'm a warrior for Murray.
Oh, God.
And yeah, friends like that, I feel pretty lucky. So Dustin's been at quite a few. Can't forget, people like Deb DeRoos. She's been at quite a few. This is Shane Pittman's first appearance at a Michigan event. We're excited about that. Shane's a good friend too.
That's awesome.
So yeah, a lot of things for people to do, and a lot of things for people to see.
Okay, so how much is the charge to get in, and what are some of the things that you'll have vendors? The vendors now, what are the vendors consist of? Is it paranormal? Is it like a mixture of stuff?
The vendors themselves are a couple of mediums, paranormal, jewelry,
artists.
Jamila is not quite a vendor anymore. She's a speaker, but she's got a bunch of things that she handmade, and she's very popular at these events. So, something for everybody. The price of the event is $75, and all the proceeds go to the shelter. So sometimes I wish I hadn't started that way because I wouldn't lose so much money on these events. But everything that we raise goes to the shelter, and very rarely does somebody come along after the event and go, this was not worth my time.
That's awesome.
It's a different kind of event. It's still a paranormal event, but there's one goal in mind, and that's to raise as much money as we can for for the shelter that we're working with.
We are doing also like 50-50 raffle and a silent auction too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We were donated some really awesome items from the paranormal friends and some good stuff.
It's great. The paranormal community is great when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, you'll see at the bash. We'll be talking about that, but at the bash, 1 year somebody lost their tent of stuff because of an unexpected wind storm. I don't know. And we literally raised almost, I could be wrong, anybody can correct me, but I want to say like maybe $600 for him to be able to get his stuff back and maybe try to help replenish whatever, you know what I mean? Like we do, it's the paranormal community when they want to come together and they really raising money for different causes is means a lot. It's not just, going to a location, which I fully support, location where you go and you're paying money and that money is going back into the location to preserve the history. That's a normal. But you have yours where it goes to animal rescues, or you have, the bash where it's wounded warriors and heroes for hire and, all kinds of stuff. And New Jersey Power Unity, that theirs is also for charity. You know what I mean? So do it's a lot of work. I see the work they do. I've never seen the work that you guys do, but I can imagine because I've witnessed the work behind the scenes with all this stuff, and it's crazy. Um, the sorry, the building that you hold the Paracon in, is it just like is it a historical building, or is it just like a big warehouse? Is it what kind of building is it?
Now, the one in Houghton Lake is just a conference center with a hotel attached to it. So we pay for that space. Makes it easy because everything's on site. Get up in the morning, you can walk to your table. Just try to make it as convenient as we can for people. One thing I will say is that in the past, my events might not have been the most organized because I will call myself out. I'm not the most organized person in the world. But Lauren has brought that to the table, and things are in a better spot now than they ever have been before as far as are we ready. So that part I feel very confident about. I wish people wouldn't wait until the day of to buy tickets, because that gets a little stressful. So if you're out there and you're listening and you want to be a part of this, Pawtographs4Pooches.com, click on events, hit the get the tickets, do it. It'll make me smile, and I will appreciate it. But now we're less than 3 weeks away, so we're kind of in the home stretch. And like Saturday night, I imagine I'll be relieved and happy. But until then, I'm probably going to be pins and needles.
Yeah, like always, I'm sure. Have you over the years noticed that you're getting more and more and more traction with Pawtographs?
Yes and no. I mean, the change of venue has kind of slowed things down this year because we went to a more rural area. The last 2 years have been right outside of Detroit, and there was a lot more population there to pick from. So it's almost like we started over, but I think it was necessary just because we could not make the event center and hotel understand what our needs were. And continually we were getting reviews from the folks that were at the event about how much they did not want to come back to this venue. So a change had to be made. And unfortunately, I think we've lost some of that market, but hopefully we can rebuild that.
Yeah, I mean, if that was, and I love that you're listening to the people too. You know what I mean? That takes a leap of faith. When you're doing so well somewhere, and then changing. You just don't know what those changes are going to bring, good or bad. But there's always going to be setbacks. But if you have a setback, then you get two forwards. You know what I mean? Like you got to learn you have to learn and to be able to keep building. You know what I mean? Um, so what's in for the future?
Well, first of all, you're hearing all that noise.
I am.
Our dogs found us, and Daisy decided now is a great time to drink all the water in the house. So, apologize for that. Daisy, maybe you could just lay down for a little bit.
Take a break.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question because Daisy is so darn loud.
That's quite all right. Let me see if I remember what I was going to say.
I think were you asking about the future?
Yeah, like going forward. I mean, what do you hope? Like, do you have any visions or goals for Photographs? Going forward, like some stuff you would like to add or stuff you would like to do and be able to do, going forward.
Well, I think we're doing a lot of that in 2025, right? We're going to make it your way. That was a big goal, to make it out east. So that's exciting.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, us too. And I think like the smaller events at actual haunted locations to also host investigations is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think going forward, that may be the focus. We're also doing a golf tournament again this year in Wisconsin.
What is it?
Golf tournament, golf scramble.
Oh, golf tournament. That's awesome.
So looking forward to that. It's a different way to raise money. It's a way for people that aren't into the paranormal to be a part of this and feel like they're contributing. I think the smaller venues, the smaller haunted venues, maybe being invited to some other events where there's not as much stress because we don't have to plan everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that may be the focus going forward. A couple of years ago, we surpassed $100,000, and I remember that night because there was a lot of celebration. But that's not how my brain worked. I'm sitting there and I'm supposed to be happy, and I'm just thinking to myself, "What's next?" So I try not to put expectations on what we're doing going forward, because the goal for everybody for the longest time was let's hit $100,000. And then once we hit $100,000, I kind of looked around and went, well, what do we do now? And I remember one person saying, well, we should go for $1 million. And I just looked at that person and I was like, I'm not living that long. Like, that's not a reasonable goal. It's just not, because in Pawtographs for Pooches is a grassroots type thing. We don't have, I guess the word I'm looking for, we don't have the huge corporate donations, sponsors. As badly as we want Tito's to be on board, they're still not.
Okay, I was just going to say this. So everybody should know. I know that Tito's is a big, huge animal activist. They love animals. Tito's is they donate year round. So, but with any anybody that gives money and donates money, they have a certain period of time where they can, they pick applications or they do this and they do that. So I was lucky. I mean, that was I was like, okay, how can I help out if I can't go? Tito's. I emailed Tito's. They get back to me. They're like, we're absolutely interested. Fill this paper out and get it back to us as soon as you can. I'm like, okay. Well, first of all, it was a lot of financial information that they needed. It was a lot of this and that, which is none of my business. So I was like, Tim, you need to fill this out and get it back to them. Right. And then 2 weeks later, Tim, did you respond to Tito's? Not yet. I'm like, but you only have a short amount of time. Tim, did you respond to Tito's a month later? No. I'm like, Tim, I didn't want to ask him the information. It's personal information. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be a part of that whole thing. I was like, okay, Tim, 3 months later, Tim, did you reach out to Tito's? No, stop. I haven't had a chance yet. Eventually, Tim reached out to Tito's, but he never got a response because they probably were not in the time frame of being able to. But I did read up on this guy who is handsome, by the way. If anybody wants to look him up, the owner of Tito's. I did, and he like is such a huge animal advocate, especially dogs. He is such a huge dog lover. So I encourage you to reach out to Tito's at some point.
Yes, ma'am.
Have them be a sponsor because they were interested. You saw the email. They're like, yes, we're interested. We just need this information. And, I didn't have that information. But Tito's would be a big, huge sponsor. That would be awesome, I think, for you guys. Kimberly's asking, what about local businesses advertising?
Go ahead.
Well, yes, we'd be interested, but it is hard when we're hosting the Michigan event and we're not from there. So we're using like our friends and resources that we can. We have reached out like to the paranormal community and asked for sponsorships, and we have some great friends that have pulled through with that too. But when we're not from the area, it makes it a little hard.
Yeah, we use our friends in the nicest possible way.
I mean,
not using them up and throwing them away.
Well, I mean, it is for a good cause. Who doesn't want to help animals?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't, then there's, I think there's something wrong with you, and I think you need to take a hike.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's like, how can you not want to, especially the shelters? The shelters need so much help. They need food. They need supplies. Do you take donations that way as well? Like at the Paracon, like, do you have people bring donatable items for the shelters as well?
We have. We've had people bring blankets, towels, food, toys, things of that nature. Try to keep it to monetary just because it's easier to keep track of. And there's a lot going on. And if the shelter leaves early, then I'm stuck with all this stuff and I got to find a way to get it to them. So sometimes the shelter doesn't even come to the event, which is a little disheartening. But you said, you were talking about, who doesn't love animals. When we first started doing this, finding a shelter that would take the money from me when it was coming from a paranormal event was so difficult.
Really?
I was turned down by a lot of shelters. Most notably a shelter in Wyoming that sent out an email to a bunch of people, and it somehow got back to me because I have friends, basically calling us all a bunch of nutcases, and all we wanted to do was go out there and raise money for them.
Wow.
There's a lot of close-minded people. Yeah, there's a lot of close-minded people, and sometimes if you're dealing with a board of directors for a shelter, not everybody on that board is a real huge fan of paranormal. So
you should walk in one day. You should walk in one day with like a T-shirt on with how much money you've raised so far, and then do what Julia Roberts did after she went shopping and she goes back and she's like, big mistake, huge, big mistake, and walk out.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that's a movie reference, and I don't get it.
Yep, it is.
Okay,
He's not a big movie person.
Oh yeah. Well, she got turned down by like a high, a high upper class place because she didn't look the part. Like she didn't look like she could afford anything in there. But Richard Gere, being her, pimp daddy at the moment, gave her like all this money in cash to go shopping on Fifth Avenue, and she did, and she came back looking all classy. And she walked in there, and she's like, big mistake, because I could have spent all this money in your store, but you kicked me out like I was garbage. So not that that's a big deal, but I'm just saying that's what I would do. Hashtag 129 blah 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 blah. Thank you.
The blah 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 is the important part.
Big mistake. So you guys are going to be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash this year.
Yeah. super exciting.
Yeah, we're even talking to people, so we feel like it's big time. All kidding aside, though, we're hopeful that we'll build that network of friends and get Murray's story to a whole new set of ears. And
you guys are doing a lecture.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Are you
And we
bringing
are-
cups?
no,
It's a little too far.
I mean, they can't even be quiet while we're doing our podcast. So, but we're looking forward to it because neither one of us have been to Gettysburg.
Well, when I was a kid.
When she was a kid, you learn things about your wife on a podcast that you didn't know.
We've talked about this before.
Gettysburg is the best place in the universe. And if there's any magic to be happened there, and if they could sprinkle a little magic dust on Pawtographs for Pooches, it's going to happen there.
And we are...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
I think you're going to say it's
I was going to say that we are willing and excited to shift gears a little bit. So any merchandise that we sell at our table will go to the Wounded Warriors that the Bash is donating to. So that's also a little change for us, but we're happy to do it.
Yeah. You just you don't want to compete
No.
with such a good cause. So why not join it and help and raise money? I've done it before. I've raised money to help Mike Couch and Lost Limbs Foundation, and it was very rewarding. And I think this is going to be just as rewarding, if not more. And really looking forward to the opportunity because it's brand new for me. It's a new event, and it's a chance, like I said, to tell Murray's story again. And I love it when we get to tell that story to people that haven't heard it before.
I want a shirt with just like Murray's big face on it. And it just says Murray's Legacy on the bottom. # Murray's Legacy.
Well, maybe you just design the next t-shirt.
I just want Murray's face. Like hit that smile of his, that the picture and the smile is just so cute. I love it. It's one of my favorite pictures. I just want him on my whole body right here. Murray's Legacy. And on the back, you could do like the Pawtographs for Pooches and stuff, and the website information. But my God,
A big mistake.
Yeah, and his paw and his paw print on the back. I think that would be cute. Get ready for some fun. I mean, they have celebrity bartending at night. They have, it's going to be really, really awesome. It's such a fun event. When are you guys getting into town?
Yeah, we're going to try for Thursday at some point. Getting there. It's about a 15-hour drive. Oof. So, yeah, depending on how
ambitious.
We're leaving Wednesday. So, depending on how ambitious we are. Hey,
hello, baby.
Yeah. We forgot to give them their dinner, I think is what's happening. So, and we're sitting in the kitchen. So I think what they're saying is, hey, since you're in here, useless human.
So I something with Pawtographs just popped in my head. Hi, baby. Hello.
And she's gone.
Do you bring your dogs to Pawtographs? Do they come?
I brought Murray occasionally. I have brought Ray to one event in Wisconsin, but with a carload of merchandise and all of our obligations for the weekend and stuff, it wouldn't be fair to them because we would either be ignoring them or secluding them in the hotel room. So they get to go to Grandma's house. They hang out there. They have a great time.
They get ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream. They get pie. They get steak. They get spoiled. So I think they enjoy their grandma time.
I would. Well, minus the steak, I would. All the other stuff, I'm sure they get spoiled. And then, so when is it? It's March 8th?
March 8th in Houghton Lake. And then I think we skip April. And then from May until October, we have an event every month, which is plenty for us.
So an event every month, and that event is promoting for Pawtographs or raising money for Pawtographs.
Yep. May, we're doing the golf scramble, the tournament. June, we're doing an event at Ashmore Estates. Robin Terry's been kind enough to give us the building for the whole weekend.
Fun.
July, we're out at the Bash. It's escaping me what we're doing in August. There you go. Palmer House in August in Minnesota. And then September, we're doing Silicon. I want to say it's in Mattoon, Illinois, but I think they moved it. So I might be wrong. But a lot of things going on for us. And then, fall comes, and I'm married into Packer season tickets. And I think somehow they play Washington this year.
Oh.
I think they do. So
Really?
we'll go live from Lambeau, and we'll let you cheer on your Commanders.
Redskins, but that's okay. You can call them.
I set you up for that.
You're not a fan. You can say Commanders. Redskins fans will say Skins. Redskins. What time does Pawtographs open? What time do they close? Will there be a schedule for people to follow? When they get there.
Yeah, there's a schedule posted on the event page. I'll eventually get it on the website. Doors open at 8:30, first speaker at 9, and everything wraps up close to 9 p.m. So it's a full day. And then if you still haven't had enough, then Jamila McKenzie is doing the karaoke for us. So we'll be doing that until, probably midnight. So and then I got to get up before to take people back to the airport. So it's a long weekend.
Gosh. Oh my God. Did you take off Monday?
No.
Oh, I would have to take off Monday from work after that. Where can people, you said, okay, so you have a website. Where is that, where they would go to purchase the website, the tickets, or can they use the Facebook?
If you're on my Facebook page, you can go into my profile and just look for the poster. There's a link to Eventbrite within that post. If you're not, go to Pawtographs for Pooches.com, hit the events tab when you get there, and then there'll be a tab next to the poster that says get your tickets, because I changed that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I changed that. And
well, the button was really small before, so people were having problems.
Yeah, so now they can just hit that button. It'll take you to Eventbrite, get your tickets for the event, and join us here in 20 days.
Now,
I think it's 20 days.
If we can't join you on the website, is there somewhere to donate? If we purchase merchandise online, is that
if you go to my timeline, my Facebook page, the pinned post is our online merch.
Mm-hmm.
You can go there, order it there. We'll send it out to you. If you go to Pawtographsforpooches.com, there's a donate button on the homepage right at the top. All of that money that you donate goes directly to Roscommon County Animal Shelter, and try to make this as successful as we can for them.
That's awesome. And then you said now you're up to 129. Do you have a goal for this year?
My goal for this year is to not lose money. I don't want to ever hand a bill to a shelter. I'm kidding. That would be my goal. But the goal, I don't know. It would be like 150 staring us in the face, but I don't know if we get there this year. So we'll have to see. I'm just looking for something successful and hopefully some growth and meeting new people, networking with new people.
Yes.
Maybe some new opportunities for 2026, and just get to tell my boy's story to as many people as will let me.
I love it. I'm going to make sure I don't miss your lecture. I want to see it. I'm probably going to bring in a box of tissues because, I can never, as many times as I hear the story, I can't get through it without crying. But, oh, damn it. What was I going to say? The ADHD is really bad. Can people purchase tickets at the door, or do they have to be purchased online?
They can definitely purchase them at the door. Like I said, we would prefer if they bought them in advance, just so we had an idea of how many people we were planning for.
Yeah.
So we could get the conference center, some kind of idea of how to set up for the event. I'm never going to turn anybody away, though. So if you want to wait till the day of, that's fine. Come in, get your tickets the day of, and we're still all going to have a great time.
Now, what about food and stuff? Do you have food vendors and everything like that show up, or does the...
There is a full kitchen and bar at this location, and they deliver to you. So we've got tables set up in the lecture room where you can eat as people are talking, if that's what you choose to do. There are also large breaks for lunch and dinner to give you an opportunity. But everything you need is at the location. Houghton Lake does have other eating options if you want to leave, but we try to make that as convenient as we can too.
That's awesome. I'm so proud of you guys. And Tim, how many years has Pawtographs been going?
Once we hit April 18th, it will be 12 years.
12 years. 12 years. You've raised $129,000 in 12 years, and that is definitely amazing. That's amazing. I mean, I hope you realize how amazing that is.
It's one of the things when you have mental health issues, nothing is ever good enough. So,
I mean, everybody's their own worst critic, but
yeah, and that's also part of it. Like, I'm horrible with taking any sort of praise. I hate compliments. I'm not real good at promoting myself. So, other people do it. That's fantastic. But this all started, I wanted to make a legacy for my boy. And we've done that. And we continue to build on that. And Lauren's doing a fantastic job with her end and what she's doing to help us grow. At the end of the day, though, we can't forget why we do this.
Right.
And as long as I'm still making him proud, then I'm good to go. There's no other goal. Whatever happens after that, honestly, is just, icing on the cake.
Do you ever get signs from him? Whether or not you do something good and then you see a sign that, get confirmation, or the opposite, where you feel like, okay, maybe I didn't do this so well, but then you get a sign and you go, okay, yeah, I did.
I'm going to out myself now, and people are going to think I'm crazy.
No, you're talking about ghost hunters.
It's been a while now where Murray figured out how to talk to me. And there's a pretty healthy conversation that we can have. He pops in from time to time. It's not constant. But if it's something real important, he'll let me know. And I know he's proud of what we're doing. I tell him all the time I miss him.
Yeah.
And even though he's physically not here, but he never really left.
He can't.
He's here. He still watches over me, and I'm never gonna not need him. So that love and that relationship will last forever. And I took this off because actually that's my wedding ring, and those are Murray's ashes inside the wedding ring.
Oh my!
He's always with me. Lauren has one too.
I do. I have one too.
And so we've always got him with us.
Nobody can even get it off.
And she can't get it off her finger. So never mind.
That's so amazing.
So mine's a little different than his, but.
Oh my God, I love that. That is so amazing.
Yeah, so he's literally in everything that we do.
Well, we should add that. We think that he will bring us together.
Yeah, there's a lot of signs that this didn't happen on accident. So that's pretty good too. That's pretty incredible.
Well, tell us.
The number 25 is a big one.
25 is the date of Murray's birthday. It's always been a special date. It's always something that we celebrated. I met Lauren on August 25th.
Mm-hmm.
We got married on October 25th, which is the day that I met Murray in 2006. So that day is double special now. It's just there's so many things that just lined up where it shouldn't have been that easy, and it shouldn't have worked as well as it did. And I got a feeling that my boy's up there pulling the puppet strings.
Well, I mean, for somebody to look at you and say, what if you have somebody help you do this? Because Murray was probably like, oh, no, Dad. Oh, no. Can't stop it. He's probably scouring the whole place like, okay, I need to find this. I need to find a strong woman that's going to come in here and tell him that this ain't over. So, yeah, I believe
I'm happy you got it right. That could have gone horribly wrong.
It could have, right? I do want to say that I do think human or pet, a strong bond. You don't have to give birth. You don't have to be family blood. It's the bond, and when a bond is that strong, it can't be broken. It just can't be broken. It's you were meant to be in each other's lives. You saved his, then he saved yours, and now his legacy does live on through you and through everybody, you and Lauren, and everybody else that participates in this awesome charity foundation that you guys got going on. And I love you guys so much for doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I feel like I know Murray. It's crazy. Never met him, but I feel like I know him, or I have met him, even though I never have. It's just hearing so much and seeing so much, you feel like, and that's what's part of keeping somebody's legacy alive,
Exactly.
I knew that we had done something right when Murray passed away in 2019, and I went out to attend Old Mill Parafest in Dundee, Michigan. And it was the same year that Rosemary Ellen Guiley had passed away. And I got there, and they had a memorial set up for Rosemary, and then there was also a memorial for Murray.
Oh.
For him to be next to what many consider the queen of the paranormal, and to be recognized in the same way, was so touching and so incredible, and meant so much to me. And I know that he made a difference.
He still makes a difference. He still is making a difference. And he's still helping out all his bros and sisters that are in shelters and, helping all those people out. So, I mean, his legacy is living on. You should be proud of that.
Yeah.
Good. Well, brings us to an end. I want to thank you both for coming on and talking about Pawtographs. Tim, as always, thank you for, sharing your story. I know that's not an easy thing to share, but it does help maybe somebody that, might be in the same place you are, hearing that maybe they might see that there is a chance for a better life or a better hope. You know what I mean? It just don't give up. Murray hasn't given up, and he hasn't been here since 2019, and he still keeps going. So it's a lot to say for what you do and what Murray does to keep it going. So I love you guys so much, and I love what you do. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, please go check out Pawtographs for Pooches. Either the website or go to Tim's page. Lauren, I think you might have stuff on your page as well for photographs. Any questions, feel free to reach out to these guys. They're awesome. Maybe Lauren's the question answerer. I'm not sure how you guys have that going. Do people reach out to Lauren for questions, or you, or either?
Either one.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting you in person for the first time. In July. Yes, July at the Gettysburg Battle Bash. Remember, it's Christmas in July.
So, oh, yes. I was trying to convince Tim that he's got to get his pajamas ready.
Christmas PJs. Let's do it. You have no idea. You don't want to be the odd man out.
I don't know. We'll see.
A lot of people participate in this whole Christmas in July thing. We love it. So I think it's amazing. You guys are going to have a lot of fun. And even coming to something like that, you might get ideas for future Pawtographs for Pooches, events. You know what I mean? Like when you go to these other Paracons and you can see how they're run and stuff like that, maybe you get other ideas.
Yep.
Thank you for joining me. Everybody in the chat, I'm sorry if I didn't get to I think I did get to mostly everybody's comments and everything. Somebody said that they do recall you telling the story of Dustin driving through a snowstorm just to make it through your event. This woman actually is a part of a rescue, so she's giving you kudos for it. She's loving that you help rescues. So I think you guys are great and would love to have you on again, as usual, to promote your event. You are one of the ones that I love to promote because I stand firmly. I am a huge animal advocate myself. So I thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the time.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Ooh, you too. And go feed your fur babies, please.
Yeah.
And you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.
Well, that was awesome. They're great people. Awesome. Please go check it out. It's one of the best charities that I've donated to, and I've never been able to make it out there. I've always told myself one day, if it's 15 hours to Gettysburg for him, then it's probably 17 hours for me to get there. So I don't know if I would ever make it. But please go check out Pawtographs for Pooches. If you cannot get there, they do have donate buttons. You can donate. You don't have to donate an exorbitant amount of money. You can buy a sweatshirt, buy a t-shirt, donate $10. Every dollar does count. As you all know, if anybody else out here is watching and they run events, they know, every penny counts. Although we might not have pennies coming soon because it takes 3 cents to make 1 penny. Just a little known fact. Anyway, join me Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I will have Sarah Grimm and Fred Ayers on to discuss post-production of 24 Hours in Hell. I'm looking forward to that. So make sure you come check it out. If anybody has ever seen the Hell House movies, this was I want to say a documentary film that they've been doing, where they spend 24 hours in the Hell House in Waldorf Estate. We're going to be talking about post-production and this and that. So it should be fun. Make sure you guys check that out. Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Until then, sweet dreams, everyone.